What's up everybody, Just Joji here, and today in this video I want to go over what we spent in the month of January to show you how much money we made, how much money we spent, and how much money we saved for financial independence, retire early in the month of January 2021. So I will have my little spreadsheet here right in front of me so I can reference some numbers, but also put some things up on the screen so that you can see them as well. Now I will say that this is probably the best month we'll ever have in a long time. It's the best month that I think we've ever had. And if you stay tuned to the end, you'll be able to see our savings rate and how much money we saved exactly. But yeah, I just want to say that we're super grateful for everything that happened this month because, wow, it was unbelievable. So let's go ahead and get started right into it. So what you can see here in this column is all of our expenses. And you can see that Maya spent a total of $1,518. I spent a total of $1,292. And that brings our total expenses this month to $2,811, which is a little bit less than I think we would normally spend in a month. So I'm pretty happy about that. We try to shoot for under $3,000 a month between the both of us, but I think that's a pretty good number for both of us. Now there are some really notable things on here that, you know, are expenses that we might have incurred this month that we might not always incur, and there's also some interesting points in here as well. So let's go ahead and talk about those. The first thing is vehicle registration. So everyone's got to do it once a month. Maya had to pay this month, so that's why her expenses seem a lot higher than mine. Well, that's one reason, is she had to pay $242 for vehicle registration. Second thing that she also has to pay for every month is health insurance, because if maybe you don't know, but she is not teaching in the traditional, like, you know, public school. She's actually privately teaching like a small pod of kids, and they're paying her money like privately, or I should say she's basically a private teacher per se. Because she isn't actually working for the public school district, then she doesn't have health insurance she has to pay for. And so this is the monthly out of pocket for her health insurance, $151. Now, one other thing of our monthly expenses here that seem really low is our grocery budget. Our grocery budget here was $72.01. So you're like, holy cow, how are they spending $72 on groceries? Well, if you rewind a little bit to December, I think it was December 30th or maybe even December 31st, Maya and I took a trip down to San Diego, and we went to this store called 99 Ranch, or Ranch 99, I'm not sure what it's called. But we like to go there once a month, and we stock up on all our meats because their prices are really good. We get fish, pork, beef, chicken, and we normally spend around like 75 to $100 when we're there, which just means we get enough meat for basically an entire month. And so the reason why our groceries were so low this month was because we went at the end of the month last month, and basically all those meats and all those chickens stuffed our freezer, and we still have a lot to go through. So this $72 basically comes from just buying a lot of vegetables, buying like milk, eggs, like all the other stuff that's not the meats that you would buy per se. And so that's why that's so low. Normally we try to aim at, you know, at $300, and we're usually a little bit below that, but yeah, this month was really, really low for that reason. Now you can see that we also have other like really fun, I call them fun funds, which are things like, oh, we have a snack fund, which is where we can go treat ourselves. So I spent $8 this month. That was a shaved ice and some apple cider from the farmer's market. The personal fund, I spent $50. That came from going out to eat burritos. And I know we do have an eating out fund, but I kind of feel bad because we have a $100 eating out fund between Maya and I. We're supposed to share it. And so sometimes I feel guilty, like I'm taking up too much of that fund. So I'll spend my personal money to go get a burrito because I really love burritos. And so they're pretty cheap. And you can actually see in the eating out fund that I only spent $7.57 for a burrito that I had taken out. And so, yeah, I didn't really spend any money on myself other than burritos, which kind of seems excessive, but you know, I'm keeping a cap on it, keeping a limit on it. Home improvement. So we spent a little bit on home improvement. We actually got this really cool basket from the farmer's market. Basically bought this basket to put our things near the front door. And so that's kind of holding all of our shoes and all the miscellaneous bags and all this random stuff that's normally by the door. So we paid $80 for that. And I believe we bought that at the beginning of the month, but we thought it was a good investment because it's a really nice basket and it's serving its purpose. Now, generally, we try to spend under $100 total for home improvement, and it looks like we were a little bit over that, but I mean, that's fine. We're a little bit over it. Okay, so again, all that totals up to $2,811. And by the way, this was the first month where we had to pay an increased monthly rent because our rent went up. It went from $14.95 to $15.30. So that feels bad, but you know what? That's just life, right? That prices of rent goes up over time. Okay, so there are our total expenses. Let's go ahead and look at our income sources. So this time I'm going to start with Maya first, and I'll go through the money that she made, all the avenues that she makes her money, and then I'll go into mine as well. Now, I will split this up into post and pre-tax income because I think it's important to tell you or to show you that a lot of the money that we're making isn't yet taxed for a number of reasons, and so we kind of have to hold money for tax season when that time comes. So let's go ahead and get started with her teaching income. So I mentioned she does like a private pod where she teaches a handful of kids and their parents pay her money to essentially be their private teacher. And with that, she makes $4,500, but that's also pre-tax, meaning it isn't yet taxed. And so you can see in that post-tax column, this is kind of what we expect, what we project the income to be after tax. Now, she also does some tutoring on the side, and that generates about $600 of pre-tax income. And then on to what I think is just amazing is her Teachers Pay Teachers last month in January made $2,288. So if you're not familiar with Teachers Pay Teachers, then you're probably not a teacher. But essentially, it's a site where teachers can put any of their resources online for other teachers to support them and buy them and use them in their classroom. And Teachers Pay Teachers, I think, is a really good platform, especially for the younger ages, because there are a lot of these really creative activities on that site that people can buy. And I think, Maya does a really good job at making them because people are obviously finding value in them. But I believe this might be her best month ever on TPT. I'll have to check with that. But I mean, $2,200 from selling things that she would use in her classroom and getting that as extra income is pretty amazing. Now, she does have some other sources of income as well, one of them being YouTube. So she has a much more successful YouTube channel than this one, much more successful than me. And she's making $66. So she's already got the subs, she's already got the watch time. But she has a YouTube channel called My Storybook. She does these shared guided read alouds for younger kids. And that's generating some money for her. Also, a short plug, she started a new YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel is going to go over her pod teaching and how she's doing this private teaching on the side. So if you're interested in that, I'll link it down below, and you can check out both of those channels if you want. Her other income comes from Etsy. So throughout college, she had an Etsy store where she would do custom artwork, and so I think she sold a couple of pieces. She was commissioned to do a couple of pieces, and she made $211 doing that. And then she also has a blog that ties into her Teachers Pay Teachers and her YouTube channel, her My Storybook shared read aloud channel. And that generated $112. And then lastly, TikTok. She's also on TikTok. And in some ways, she's really successful on TikTok because she's got a ton of followers there. And just recently, she's been able to monetize it. And so this month, she made $195 on TikTok, which is pretty awesome, pretty amazing. I could definitely learn some things from her in terms of creating content and getting viewers, but in any case, she made a pre-tax income this month of just under $8,000, and I'm projecting the post-tax income to be 70% of that. And the reason why it's going to be 70% of that is she's technically self-employed, and if you're self-employed, you have to pay self-employment tax. And the funny thing is if you are self-employed, then not only are you paying the employee part of the self-employment tax, but you're also paying the employer part of the self-employment tax because you're both the employee and the employer. So 15.3% of your income goes to self-employment tax. And then I'm guessing that our overall effective tax rate is probably going to be around 15% because we are going to be kind of shielding a lot of money through pre-tax retirement accounts. So that's how I got to the 30% tax and to the $5,580 of post-tax income. Okay, now let's get on to me. So I had, starting with my teaching income, which never changes, it's about the same. It comes to $4,500 of post-tax income. And this month was an amazing month on Amazon FBA. It's the best that I've ever done. It's probably better than I'll probably ever do again. And it was just absolutely insane this month. So what you can see here is that I made a pre-tax income of $19,450. And let me break it down for you and show you what my actual business expenses were in January so you can get an idea of what I actually grossed and then what all my expenses were, what I paid out, and then what I actually got to keep, and then what I project after taxes. So let's get right into it. So you can see that in January, we sold 540 books, 540 textbooks, and that sold for a gross sales revenue of just under $48,000, which is a ton of money. Now, you'll see that the income is only $30,600, and that's because the difference between $47,000 and $30,000 is actually the Amazon fees. So that's everything Amazon takes just for me selling on their platform. So essentially, I made Jeff Bezos $17,000, and I'm sure he's happy about that. I mean, that's probably nothing to him, but that's basically Amazon fees. Now, the next thing are the expenses. And so I broke down all the expenses here on the left, but you can see that basically paid out $8,000 in expenses. Now, the biggest expense by far is actually the product purchases, which is technically not an expense. It is a deduction because it is investing in new products or new books to sell on Amazon. But technically, I wouldn't think of it as an expense that's like money that goes away because it really is an investment into future products. So in January, I spent just under $7,000 on products. That includes books that I plan to sell on Amazon FBA. And then there's a number of these other things that are subscriptions, things that help me run my business more efficiently. They save me time in a number of aspects. And you can see the things like eDesk. So this is something that will send an email to customers that buy my books, and we'll say, hey, are you happy with the book purchase? Can we help you in any way? Things like Keepa, which helps me analyze book sales or analyze whether or not I want to buy a book or what I can sell a book for. There's things like a seller list that help me list books. There's other things like a tax course that I bought to learn a little bit more about taxes, to get my business a little bit more organized, a little bit more under wraps. And you can see that this One Prep Direct is actually a business that I'm working with. And essentially what I'm going to start doing now is sending my books to a warehouse for them to deal with listing the books and sending them into Amazon. Because before, if you had watched any of my other videos, I was the one that was receiving all the books, unboxing them, listing them, sending them to Amazon. And I basically made a business decision and said, you know what? I think I can make more money if I took that time and spent it buying more books rather than taking that time and unboxing and listing and shipping to the warehouse. So basically, I pay like $2 per book to get it shipped to Amazon's warehouse instead of shipped here and then listed by me and sent into Amazon. And I think that is probably the best thing that I could have done for my business because it gives me a lot more time to do other things, and it's going to allow me to expand my business. Okay, so there it is, $8,000 of expenses. And you can see that I also paid out $3,000 in commissions. So what does this mean? Well, there are people that sell books on my account. I allow them to sell their restricted inventory on my account for a percentage of the sale. And so I paid out $3,000. And basically I made just under $1,000 in passive income or in commissions for letting them sell their books on my account. And I don't need to touch their books. They just send it into Amazon's warehouse under my account. And if it sells, I make a commission. So that brought me to a net pre-tax of $19,450 for the month. And again, here I'm going to be projecting 30% tax rate because this is technically under my own business. So I'm the employee and the employer. I'm paying 15.3% self-employment tax. And then I'm also expecting that my effective tax rate is going to be 15% because again, we will be investing a lot of money in pre-tax retirement accounts and essentially reducing our taxable income. Now, there are some other things that made some money for me this month. I made a little bit over $2,000 on Merch by Amazon. So this is a platform where you make products, basically designs on t-shirts, and you earn a royalty for every unit that sells. And this is way spiked than most months because this is actually what I made in December, but you don't get paid until a month later. So as you know, Christmas is crazy and there's only one Christmas a year. And so generally around Christmas, I usually get up into the $2,000 to $3,000 range for shirts that are selling. It's entirely passive because I haven't done anything with it since 2019, but it's awesome that it comes in, right? I mean, it's extra income. Now, the other things here would be Etsy, Redbubble, and TeePublic. So this is where I took those same designs and put them on these other websites, and I generate a little bit of income, but obviously nothing close to anything else. So this brings my pre-tax income for the month of January to just under $28,000. And again, I'm projecting about a 70% take-home percentage. So that brings me to $19,600. And so if you add up our total income, and again, this is just going to be post-tax income, our projected post-tax income, that's about $25,000. We spent a little under $3,000, which means our savings is $22,437, which is just feels really good. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really nice. it's never going to be this high again. And this gives us a savings rate this month of 88%, which again is probably never going to be this high. And the reason why it's probably going to never be this high is because there are only 2 textbook seasons when it comes to Amazon FBA. There's January and August, and every other month sells significantly less. So there's no way that I'm going to get anywhere near the number of products I sold January last month. Same thing with Merch by Amazon. There's only one Christmas every single year, so usually sales for Merch by Amazon are between $100 to $300, and so that's probably what the income is going to be in the future. And also for Maya, like, she did really well in TPT this month. We don't know if that's going to keep up, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see in February. But all in all, yeah, it's quite amazing that we're able to save this much money. We feel very grateful for the opportunities to be able to do this. And so what are we going to do with this $22,000 of savings? Well, it's all savings. So most of it's going to be invested in the stock market. So most of it is going to be invested in our pre-tax retirement accounts. And so actually we might be investing even more than the $22,000 because again, this is technically the savings of the post-tax income, right? And the reason why I haven't shown you exactly what we've invested in our pre-tax retirement accounts is because I'm kind of in the process of my own business formation of whether or not I want to become an LLC or an S Corp. Because if I am taxed as an S Corp, then I can open a solo 401k and contribute to that as an employee and an employer. So I'm still in the process of, finalizing whether or not I'm going to become an LLC, if I'm going to become an S Corp, and how that exactly is going to work in terms of money that I can contribute. And as you know, I mean, with a 401k, especially a solo 401k, I mean, you can invest throughout the entire year. So, some of this money is going to be in savings for right now until I figure out what I want to do with this earned income, because I do want to shelter it as much as possible. But some of the money is also going to go into our taxable accounts. Some of this money is going to go into a Roth IRA as well. And obviously a lot of it is going to go into my 457B plan, which is my retirement plan that's sponsored by my employer. But yeah, that's what we have for you for our January budget. I do not think February's budget is going to be anywhere near that. But hey, it's a great way to start off the year 2021. So if you like this video, we'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. And if you enjoyed any of the content, hit that subscribe button. But that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining. And if you have any comments, any suggestions to make this better so I can help grow or just give you maybe what you want, I'd appreciate a comment down below. But thank you so much. Take it easy and goodbye.